When Hope Springs Alive, a story written by Tessie. I've always felt odd, different, eccentric. I've always was different than the family that I was raised in. As you see, I'm adopted. There was nothing the same with me and my family. I just had such differentness in me. I didn't think like my parents or my siblings. I didn't look like them. I didn't act like them. And I surely had such a different aspect of life than they did. As a small girl, I knew I was different and I was unique. But you know, I had a major flaw in my life, and that was I've always had the mentality that I was a victim. Ever since I was a little girl, whenever somebody did something to me, I was always the victim. Many times that was put upon me not because of my own doing, but because of the actions of others. Yes, being adopted, I had these feelings of being rejected by my blood family, as most adopted children do. And yes, at times I feel that I was treated very different being adopted, but that's another feeling that most adopted children feel. But I always would go on, and I would always be troubled with all of the things that people did. Oh, they said this about me and that. And because of all of that, I could never really trust people. It seemed like I would become friends with them, and I was a loyal friend, and then all of a sudden they would talk behind my back. In school, girls are especially known to be like that. If you're friends with this person, you can't be friends with that. I was a tomboy at heart. I never really had that kind of mentality. I like to be friends with everyone. And I didn't understand why it wasn't popular to be friends with everyone. And if you're friends with someone the girls that were popular didn't like, well, then you were cast away as well. That went on into my adulthood. My mentality stayed the same. I thought we could be friends with everyone. But it seemed like in some circles, if you were friends with some people, you couldn't be friends with others, even as grown women. Until one day, not very long ago, I realized that I am not a victim, that I am victorious. Yes, I may be a little old to realize some of these things, and people would say, my goodness, you must be a slow learner. No, I'm just extremely empathic. I have empathy for everyone and anything, even for animals, even for the smallest little insect. I have empathy. As the obstacles in my past were given to me, I realized they were there not to be a victim through them all, but because they were to give me strength. They were to give me a story, to give me a testimony, and to help create me all that I could be. If I want to rise out of the pit, that means I have to put the ladder down there and walk up the ladder myself. Instead of hoping that somebody else is going to rescue me and get me out of that pit, I realize that I need to do it myself. These are lessons that people have learned maybe back in elementary school, but you understand the way I was raised was so different than what a lot of people were raised. When you live in a community where people were like you, and you raised in a community where you weren't out in the world, you didn't understand some of these things. Sometimes you need to do it alone and pull yourself out of that ground, brush yourself off, and stand tall. No more whining about what somebody did this or did that. Have a backbone. There's a season for everything, and sometimes there's a season to be quiet, but sometimes, just sometimes, there is a season to stand up, and stand up for what you believe in. I made a choice, a few months ago now, to really made a choice to look at my life with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective. And in that moment, I found hope and inspiration. I found my life in ways that I don't know if I ever found them before. My only goal now is to inspire others to seek the Lord and to find hope. You know, this journey, it may sound sappy, but this journey we walk is not one alone. We walk together in life. And I realize the more support system that I have, and the more I share my life with you all, the more my life has been enriched. Yes, when I open my heart wide for the world to see, there are some that want to come in there and they want to destroy it. But I realized there are just a few of them. And the more I open my life, the more people have come into my life and have welcomed me, and we are friends and we are family. My goal and my channel is to bring light into a dark world. And I've done that, and I continue to do that. I want to give hope to those who have no hope and who feel like they have no one that will be there for them. Recently, a few subscribers I have met in person, and one of them hugged me and just cried. She came to the food truck that I have on a monthly basis to hand out free food to people that live in my community. And she drove to meet me. And she looked at me in the eye and said, "Don't ever feel like you don't make a difference in someone's life." But you see, my friends, I am not special. I am just a simple girl in this big world who just wants to make a difference. I am no different than you. I am no different than anyone else. You have the power to create life in someone else right now, today. You have the power to change someone's life. And that is by sharing your life with them. Not everybody is meant to be on YouTube. Not everyone is meant to share their life in the world that we're living in, to open their life in such a public way. But everyone can share their life with someone else. So I ask you, my friends, will you come along with me on my journey? Will you share your life with me? Will you find hope if you're hopeless? And will you be victorious if you feel that you're a victim? We are all victims of something in our life. We are all products of things that happen to us. But you know what? We have the choice to become victorious. You see, when things happen to us as children, they are placed upon us in a way that we didn't ask for that. They were placed on us in a way that we didn't choose that. But as adults, we can choose to do a 180 and change our lives around. So all of those things that we were thinking as children, that thinking of being unloved and uncared for, all of these things of being treated in a way or feeling that we are not wanted, we can change that, and we can turn those feelings into positivity, and we can change someone else's life. The worst thing I have always said in life is the feeling that you are alone. The utter feeling that you are alone. Feeling alone doesn't mean that you're alone in the physical body. You can be in a crowd of hundreds of people and feel so utterly alone. Feeling alone is something that's deep within your soul. It's a feeling that nobody understands you. But as an adult, when you share that part of your life with people and come out on the other end of it and realize that all of those situations that you were put under, all of those things that you were put under actually gave you character, gave you strength, gave you a purpose as an adult in life. All of those things, you can turn it around and you can give a testimony and you can help someone else today. Today, my friends, and doing that. Forgiveness is the key to healing. When you forgive someone, you're not saying what they did to you is okay. But when you forgive someone, you're saying to yourself, I love you enough that I am going to forgive. So the bitterness leaves your heart. The number one killer of a person's soul is bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness. And you will never, ever find true hope until you do that. And when you forgive someone, the weight is lifted off your shoulders and you are able to go on your day with a lightness and a happiness and a contentment that you could never imagine.